Hello, everyone. On behalf of IFLA's section on libraries for children and young adults, I am delighted to be able to share our presentation on inclusive libraries, how libraries around the world are supporting children, families, and early literacy. We'll take a close look here at how libraries are working to support early childhood care and education by partnering with governmental stakeholders, reaching marginalized groups, supporting early literacy initiatives, and demonstrating the global potential of libraries. I'm going to start with my own presentation, so you'll see that first, followed by several of my colleagues. Thank you so much for listening. Hello, my name is Martens. I'm an associate professor at Kent State University School of Information. We're located in Ohio in the United States, and I train future librarians who will work with children and young people. Today, I'm going to tell you about a recent project I did with colleagues at Kent State at a town outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Despite what we know about the benefits of early childhood education, preschool is not mandated in the United States, and there are many reasons that families choose not to send their children to preschool. One of the biggest barriers to attending preschool is cost, because preschool is quite expensive. There are a few exceptions, such as government programs for low-income families like Head Start, or one in the northeast of Ohio called the Center's Preschool. In recent years, the library in Maple Heights, Ohio, had extra space. And when the local Center's Preschool needed new space, the libraries allowed them to move into that space. And this created a really unique opportunity. Not only did it give lots of much needed space to the preschool children, but it also gave this incredible opportunity of housing a preschool within a library. In theory, integrating a preschool within a library would allow preschool teachers and students the opportunity to benefit from all of the resources available at the library. As an added benefit, children attending the preschool would grow up feeling that the library belongs to them. The arrangement would also provide benefits for the entire families of preschool children. School-age children, for example, can take advantage of tutoring and homework help available at the library. Parents and caregivers can take advantage of all kinds of resources at the libraries, from entertainment, such as books, media, and other content, but also help with taking the high school equivalency exam, for example, or job help, getting help with a resume or job counseling, or help with tax preparation, social services, or even immigration. Similar to preschools, public libraries in the United States are very focused on supporting early literacy and learning and family engagement. Public library story times in particular are very rich learning environments, and research has shown that when story time providers incorporate a variety of early literacy skills, there's a very strong correlation with children's early literacy behaviors during story times, which suggests that children are responding to and interacting with the early literacy content in story times. In addition, story times have been found to support a variety of other early learning skills for children who attend. And that includes vocabulary learning, early math skills, fine and gross motor skills, social skills, receptive listening skills, and self-regulation skills. Given their similar goals and expertise, preschool library partnerships are a natural fit. In fact, the Administration for Children and Families has encouraged early childhood centers to seek out partnerships with libraries to enhance their work with the children and families they serve. Similarly, the Association for Library Service to Children, along with the American Association of School Librarians and the Young Adult Library Services Association, have all encouraged public libraries to collaborate with the schools in their community, including early childhood centers. Preschool library partnerships already occur in many communities and are often focused around providing traveling book collections to preschools to increase diversity in classroom book collections, and offering story times in the preschool classrooms. Despite these very obvious benefits to a preschool library partnership and the rich opportunities afforded by the preschool in the library setting, little had been done at this library by the time we started working on the project. We wanted to see how we might be able to change this, which led us to our primary research question. How can a community of practice be cultivated between a library and a preschool to benefit the children and families? We also had sub-questions, one of which was, to what extent can partnering with a library enhance a preschool's early learning environment? We also wanted to know, to what extent can a preschool library partnership increase whole family engagement? To answer our primary research question and our sub-questions, our team used qualitative and quantitative methods, including individual and focus group interviews of preschool and library staff. We held 2 workshops for preschool and library staff designed to foster collaboration, and we did surveys at the end of each workshop. As a team, we also collected interviews and survey responses from parents and caregivers, but that data is beyond the scope of this presentation now. We're going to be presenting that in a future paper. At the first workshop, librarians presented about all the capabilities they had for collaborating with the preschool. They explained that they could create a mobile library collection, which preschoolers could use to check out books to take home. They could create themed classroom book sets. They had educator cards for the teachers that would allow them to check out 150 books at a time. They had toy and puppet collections, and they had story times in the library. They held STEM organized programs. They had materials and programs for parents and caregivers. At this initial workshop, the library staff and the preschool staff did not know each other at all. And while all the library staff attended, only about half of the preschool teachers were there. The workshop was held at the end of a very long workday, so the research team brought in dinner and prizes. We had an icebreaker in which we paired teachers and librarians, and we had them each list 10 things that they all had in common. And this icebreaker was actually a great success. It got everybody talking and laughing. By the second workshop, we had 100% attendance from teachers and library staff. Again, we brought dinner and prizes, and the atmosphere was festive and collaborative. And in this relaxed atmosphere, ideas began to flow. We collected notes from each group about what they wanted from each other. How could they envision collaborating? And one idea we came up with was the idea of a family event that would bring everyone together in one setting. It would allow parents to know more about services offered at the library for their children and for themselves. But our research was being done in fall of 2019, and we all know what happened next: global lockdowns. But in the meantime, some of the ideas that came out of the workshop, such as the mobile book carts, were started. Teachers told librarians what their themes of the week were, and libraries made related classroom sets. With the educator cards, the teacher could check out up to 150 books per class, and that was all started. A mobile library for the children was also started. Oh, here is a teacher delivering books to a preschool classroom. This is a set of curated books around the children's interests, and she could bring them down on this library cart. And then children could explore the mobile cart there. They could check out books. They would remove a card from each of the books, the checkout card, and then they would look to the mobile cart. They would find their name, again, early literacy practices, put the card inside, and then be able to take the book home. This small activity gave children agency in choosing a book for themselves and reinforced children's name recognition and basic library skills of borrowing and returning a book. And by the way, there were no late fines for books in this program. At the beginning of the project, despite the library and preschool staff really wanting to collaborate together, workloads and work schedules meant that for several months after the preschool had been housed in the library, no collaborations had begun. But after our workshops, when the staff of both the preschool and the library had a chance to meet each other, brainstorm ideas together, afterwards, many ideas had been actualized. The mobile book checkouts were happening weekly, as were rotating collections. Children from the preschool were coming to the library for regular story times and STEM programs. Children even brought stuffed animals to the library for a stuffed animals sleepover. Together, we believed the children would see the library as an enjoyable space that belonged to them. We could see them engaging with the purpose of the library, and they were benefiting from early literacy skill development, early STEM skill development, and from exploratory learning. Our project was frozen in 2020 because of the global pandemic, but we're looking forward to rebuilding upon what we started in 2023. We believe the Maple Heights Public Library and Center's preschool provides an important example of fostering a love of libraries from an early age, while also boosting early literacy and learning. And we believe this example could easily be replicated elsewhere. Thank you so much for listening.
I'm the library director, Kent Skov Andreasen, and I'm sitting here in our main city library here in Odense, the Odense Libraries. I've been told if I would talk about our international engagement, and of course we'll do. We have a long tradition for working internationally and also including our politicians. But we have and are still represented in some sections in the IFLA. We have over the years, during the years, been in the public library section, and now in the section for young and adults. I have been attending the governing board, elected to the governing board years ago, and I'm still active in 5 committees. Some years ago, when we have been working for many years locally, we also started with involving our politicians and asking them if they could be interested in attending the conference, the IFLA WLIC conference, to see on an international scale what library work is, and get the impressions that we get that way, also for local initiatives. I think the value is that we have been giving a lot of network opportunities and a lot of inspiration, and that led us to ask the politicians. And for many years now, the Councillor for the Culture Affairs in Odense has been attending the IFLA conference, and that's last time here in Dublin we had a new councillor, and he was very committed to many of the sessions. And right away, when he returned here to Odense, he wrote an article about his impressions from the conference. And he actually also published it in the national Danish magazine for libraries, which is published by the Danish Library Section, the Danish Library Association, in fact. So in that connection, he also took it back and integrated in the city council, where he has his place and his voice. And this extra value, besides seeing what a global network it is to work with other professionals, he had the clear opinion that it has given him some to use in the local politics. And that integrates especially subjects as library service to the vulnerable people, and also the censorship that we see increasing in some countries. So after this conference in Dublin, this recent summer, we have been working together with that, and he has, I told you, he has published his ideas of this work. So The Danish Library Association is supporting that we have members of the international sections, not the politicians, but we can still attend that if we are being elected to the sections, and we have been that. But the Danish Library Association supports simply with economics that we can go, and it is also organized in that way that, in fact, two-thirds of the members of the Danish Library Association actually are elected cultural politicians. So it is worked into the library managing work and the lobbying of the top libraries. So this is to just say a little of our way and the Danish way of working more active with library issues in an international scale and close together with the politicians. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk on this conference. I wish I could be with you and hope you all have rewarding days in Uzbekistan. My name is Martens. I am a senior advisor at IFLA County Library in Norway. I'm also a member of the section on libraries for children and young adults in IFLA. And first, I have to tell you a little about Norway. Norway is a small, long and cold country up in the north. We have 5.3 million inhabitants in our long country. Norway is a constitutional monarchy and a representative democracy. The country is organized in 11 counties and 356 communities. We have a high degree of governmental trust and welfare and have also high taxes. I work in one of the county libraries in Innlandet in the eastern part of Norway. I'm also a children's writer and member of the board of several national writing and reading organizations. I'm also lucky to have the trust in my community to have been elected as deputy mayor. So I'm engaged in libraries, writing and politics, and that is the reason why I am talking to you. How can you reach your local governmental stakeholders? There is no answer that will work everywhere, but I will give you some advice. The most important is know your community. Who are your local stakeholders? How does things work in your community? Who are your local leaders and which organizations are present in your community? Talk to people and be curious. What are they doing? What is going on? What do people discuss in the papers or social media? Maybe you can partner up with your local knitting club, e-sport group, or kindergarten. Many people like to contribute, but they also like to be asked. And here you can see my community and the small town of Dokka where I live. As well as possibilities, it's also so important to know the challenges of your community. Are there many children who come home to empty houses after school? Are there many lonely elderly people? Maybe they can meet at the library. Do you have many immigrants? Many people who don't have access to internet? Do people live in crowded apartments? Make a strategy to meet these challenges. And we, of course, know that the answer is in many cases the library, but everyone else also needs to know. It can't be said too many times. That is why it's important that you are visible in your community, among politicians and other stakeholders. If that is difficult for you, think of the people who use and need the library. You are visible on behalf of them, and especially those who don't have a strong voice for themselves, like small children, those who have difficulties with reading, unemployed people. When your local politicians see you, they should be thinking of the library and all the fantastic things happening there. Invite them to your library. Participate in meetings where decisions are made. Be present where things happen. Use social media. Show all the good things that you do, and be clear on what your library can offer. Even if you think you say it again and again, keep on. You're not so nagging as you think, and a smile always helps. As a politician myself, I can promise you that many people contact us. It's an important part of the job, so I always try to listen. Many of those who want to speak to us have a problem, something to complain about, or they need money for something. It makes me very happy when someone has something to offer or have a solution to things. Remember that politicians are people too. I live in a small community where it's quite easy to reach people in person. If you don't have that possibility, you may have to present yourself or the library in written words. Then I also have some advice for you. Make sure you know what your most important message is. Keep it short and understandable. Politicians also often have to read a lot. If you can make your point easy to catch, it's an advantage to you. The most important text first, and you can explain more later in the text. Be nice, drink coffee, make good relations, and make sure that stakeholders understand that investing in the local library is an investment for all the people in your community. Thank you so much.
Hola y bienvenidos. Hello and welcome. My name is Ludy Rueda. I'm the Children and Teen Services Outreach Librarian at Poudre River Public Library District in Fort Collins, Colorado. Thank you, Dr. Martens, for this opportunity, and thank you all for your time.
Today, I would like to share my experience reaching out to underrepresented groups in the library through language justice. Professor Tate reminds us that libraries are in key position to serve marginalized communities. As community pillars, libraries are committed to bring equitable access to those groups. It's essential to understand our communities in order to provide real access to resources for knowledge, innovation, or enjoyment. In Fort Collins, Colorado, about 12% of the population is Hispanic or Latino. According to an analysis of library demographic services and programs by the American Library Association, Spanish is by far the most supported non-English language in public libraries in USA. It is important that these institutions mirror their community through their services, programs, collections, and staff. Therefore, best hiring practices should include hiring for culturally competent staff. Libraries have played a key role in my journey as a Mexican immigrant, and I can truly understand the relief I see in the library users when I speak to them in Spanish. Having multilingual staff at the library allows us to create inclusive multilingual spaces where all languages are valued equally. Regardless the age, to be able to communicate, understand, and be understood in the language of your heart is empowering. And this is language justice. My library system has an outreach department that is committed to create and implement library programs that are linguistically and culturally attuned with the Spanish-speaking families in our community. We have designed programs and services for different priority groups. Today, I'll focus on our children's programs. Early literacy is at the core of children's services at the public libraries. By offering a Spanish or bilingual story time at daycares, elementary schools, and after-school programs serving Spanish-speaking families, we not only bring library services to priority groups, but we also establish connections with the children while promoting reading, the love for books, and the Spanish language, which in many cases is the first language of the families we serve. Research in bilingual education indicates that a strong foundation in one's first language is necessary to succeed in learning a second one. Access to technology is fundamental to a child's success in today's digital world. Therefore, bridging the digital divide is one of our priorities. Introducing technology in classroom has allowed us to expose children to new technologies, to teach responsible use of technology, and to bring high-quality STEM programs to our target audience. Historically, Hispanic and Latino students in the USA have been underserved in the STEM fields, part of it being the existence of inequities in the educational system and the lack of opportunities. Through their commitment to innovation, public libraries have an array of programs. For example, this modern version of the Pen Pal program implemented by Puro Libraries allows children to exchange communication with kids from other parts of the world. While using global technology for communications, they have the opportunity to practice their literacy skills, embrace their language, and raise cultural awareness. During the transition to online programming throughout the pandemic, public libraries realized that virtual and hybrid programs are a wonderful tool to reach out to new audiences, but they are also a reminder to be mindful of the digital divide. This is an example of one of our virtual art workshops offered to children during a school off day. Our facilitator was Mexican children's book author and illustrator Guillermo Castellanos, better known as Memo Plastilina. Children truly enjoy connecting with role models that look like them and speak the same native language. Representation truly matters. Public libraries are a magnet for social connection. Offering children that sense of community and creating spaces to establish relationships outside the buildings are key elements in building trust. In our library system, programs like community murals, family concerts, and a variety of cultural celebrations are wonderful ways to connect the Spanish-speaking community. As you probably noticed, our outreach department provides programs and services mostly outside the library buildings. However, we do offer programs inside the library buildings that empower Spanish-speaking patrons to use in-branch services and our intentional diverse collection that mirrors our community. One of the most powerful frameworks used in public libraries in USA is Rudine Sims Bishop's Mirrors, Windows, and Sliding Glass Doors. Books are mirrors when readers see their own life reflected in the pages. Books are windows when they allow readers a view of life and stories that are different from their own. Books become sliding glass doors when readers feel transported into the world of the story and when they feel empathy for the characters. Public libraries are great, right? But we couldn't do it without partnerships and collaborations. We have a strong network that supports our commitment to early childhood care and education. Lastly, public libraries intentionally design programs and services for the underserved. This certainly looks different in each community, and it is very exciting to see so many creative approaches in action to serve children all around the world. Please feel free to scan the QR code to access my contact information. Thank you for your time.
Muchas gracias a todos.
My name is Elizabeth Nyambura Wambui from Kenya National Library Service, Meru Library in Kenya. I'm presenting a talk on libraries, working with street children and those with special needs. I would like to make an introduction about our library. It's a public library that serves the community through various activities, amongst them lending information materials, nurturing talents, free basic computer classes, visiting Repos International, among others. Street families and special needs children outreach. Every Thursday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Meru Library staff visit the street families at Ntere Park in town, and we do activities like reading aloud, drawing competition, learning different subjects with applications on the tablets, e.g. math attack, math workout, English grammar, and stories. Street children reading and learning with electronic devices, e-readers and tablets. As you can see in the first picture, we are using the e-readers for read aloud sessions, to read stories, and to also retell the stories. In the second picture, we can see the children are using tablets. Tablets, we use them for different subjects like mathematics, English, so that the children can be able to do different things. The drawing lesson, it is a time for them to enhance their talents and creativity. special needs children outreach. We also work with Furaha Center for Children with Cerebral Palsy and Autism and Ripples International. As you can see in the first picture, the library staff assemble and they help the needy children to be able to navigate the tablets for the games that are inside. They have sessions of reading phonetics with them, playing games in the tablet that makes the children concentrate for a few hours while the staff can do other things. In the second picture, you can see one of the staff from Furaha Center is going through a therapy session with the child, and the session is made of a mat that has covers of books in it so that the atmosphere can be like a library. Conclusion. Libraries have a bigger role to play in fueling the creativity and imagination of children. Meru Library inspires and helps street and special needs children to explore and accomplish their purpose in life, regardless of their circumstances, and also instill hope in them. Hence, we are the generation of hope. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello, I'm Rosina from Bangladesh Shishu Academy. Today, I'm trying to describe some initiative about Academy, how they are preparing children and young adults to be a global citizen. Bangladesh Shishu Academy is the apex body of the country dedicated to the cultural and creative development of children of all ages. The Academy's activities are supervised by the Ministry of Women and Children Affairs, which also provides the funding. It is assisted by writers, artists, and cultural activities who have made substantial contributions in their respected fields with a focus on children. The Academy has training, performance, and participation in such areas as drama, dance, music, theater, literature, painting, life skills, and leadership. These are held in both at its headquarters in Dhaka and all the district and Upazila office premises throughout the country. Thus, renowned writers of children's literature help the young participants in the Academy's literature program to develop their interest in literature and the skills in writing. Distinguished painters train them in the basics of drawing and painting. The Academy provides all the materials and facilities that are needed. It is indeed a pleasant sight to see children trooping to the venues of the Academy's activities with their parents on weekly and other holidays, tuning uniforms reflecting colors of the national flag. The Academy, over the several decades of its existence, has served a quite large number of children. As many as 35,000 children receive their training every year with the collaboration of national and international organizations. The Academy ensures that children with special needs are included in all its programs. The main vision of Bangladesh Shishu Academy is to develop the child's talents through proper care and training. And vision is to develop children. Academy runs some projects works with the collaboration with international organization for development sector, and these are the early learning for child development project. Third phase is going on, an integrated community-based center for child care, protection, and swim safe facilities, and Libraries Unlimited Project, and National Children Task Force. Here are some photos of project activities which we have already completed. Very recently, Academy organized some workshops for children and young adults to develop their creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, teamwork, cooperation, life skills, and leadership among children through interactive interlocking Greek play. And other one is to promoting children's interest and skills on basic computer coding and programming to achieve the 4 IR challenges and build a digital Bangladesh. Through these workshops, 800 children have participated through 8 divisional districts in Bangladesh. These are the global partners of Bangladesh Shishu Academy to develop the children mental, physical, and intellectual talent hunt. And thank you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Carolyn Rankin and I am an LIS academic and researcher based in the United Kingdom. I'm a committee member of the IFLA Libraries for Children and Young Adults section, and I'd like to talk to you today about our IFLA guidelines for library services to children aged 0 to 18. So the topics I'm hoping to cover in my presentation are children's librarians as key enablers for the early years, and also to talk about the role of libraries. That's to give some context. And then I'd like to introduce the IFLA guidelines and then finish with some key messages. So early years development. Early years childhood and care and education is the foundation of all other educational development outcomes, and it is high on the political agenda in many countries. Hence also the topic for the main conference that you're attending at the moment. There is growing awareness and knowledge of the importance of the first years of life for intellectual, social, and emotional development. Work is already being done in libraries across the world to support the development of communication, language, and literacy in young children, and I would like to say a little bit more about this now. There is considerable evidence in the literature to support the value of library provision for young children and their families. But we know that often organisations who support children are perhaps not aware or forget the work that is already being done in libraries. Children's librarians can be key enablers in communities where they have contact with young children, families and carers. They provide positive interventions and they are at the forefront of promoting children's rights, helping to give young users the best start in life, and disseminating key messages about the importance of early literacy. So I would say that libraries and librarians are a vital aid to literacy development, and the generic message is that reading with young children is important irrespective of first language, heritage or cultural background. The professional intervention provided by the librarian in supporting this development of communication, language and literacy is much more than just the telling of stories or having a playtime. They provide activities that encourage emergent literacy, and parents and caregivers are encouraged to play an active part in that learning process. So what is on offer does make a difference to social capital, educational achievement and future life chances, as well as to an enjoyment of reading and being literate in today's fast-moving world. So this work in libraries can support SDG Target 4.2. So I hope that has given some context for now, as I would like to introduce the IFLA guidelines for children and young adults, which have been produced by our standing committee. Now, these guidelines promote and encourage the development of effective library services for children of all abilities by giving guidance to the international library community about children's needs and rights on information, literacy and reading. The guidelines are not a set of rules for designing an ideal library service for children, but they suggest what might be appropriate or feasible while being aware there are wide differences in social, cultural and economic circumstances in different communities. We acknowledge there are significant differences in the provision of library services for children across the world, and we shouldn't make assumptions about what a library is, because not every library may be in a physical space. So what are the guidelines aiming to do? We are intending that they support the development and improvement of library services for children in all regions of the world. And the intention is to provide knowledge and professional insight for those who strategically plan or deliver service and programs. So aimed at the library practitioners. But we also feel that the guidelines will help to inform decision makers and those who are involved in developing policies around this type of provision. And also NGOs to support literacy and reading programs for children and families. I'm pleased to be able to say that so far these IFLA guidelines have been translated into 14 different languages, and there are more to come. So if I may just summarize so far what we've covered about the guidelines. They promote and encourage the development of effective library services for all children, and they provide professional insight for those who have to strategically plan or deliver children's library services and programs. Now, the guidelines are quite a meaty document. They consist of 18 pages, and we've now taken another step and created an easier way to access the guidelines in the form of a poster. And here is our poster, which I hope you like. Here it is. It covers the most essential parts of that main 18-page document, together with eye-catching infographics, and a QR code provides easy access to the complete guidelines for those who wish to refer to the detailed document itself. Now, we hope this will be useful for advocacy purposes when discussing library planning with decision makers and stakeholders. And for librarians, the infographic provides a nice visual summary for everything that we're wanting to cover in the contents. So I hope you like the infographic as much as we do. So I would like to finish my presentation with these key messages. And I'm reminded that key messages are the main points that you want your listening audience to hear and remember. So I hope you will hear and remember these. Children's librarians are key enablers and already offer support for early literacy and play-based learning. They are ideal partners for ECCE. The IFLA guidelines provide a discussion opportunity for government stakeholders and policymakers to engage with libraries. There is a full document and a short infographic version. My final comment. There is a need for children's librarians with knowledge and skills. Building capacity in this practitioner workforce will benefit children. Investment in library services for children can help improve their future life chances. Thank you for listening to my presentation today.
Hello, I'm Benjamin Schäffler, head of the Children's and Young Adults Library at the Central and Regional Library in Berlin, Germany. I will talk to you about an early literacy program my library is running successfully ever since 2016. Books for Babies. Toddlers Discover Media. Long before the stage of reading independently has been reached, promoting literacy and reading skills is very important. How to create a literacy-friendly surrounding at home? That's what many parents want to know when they think about supporting their children's abilities and competencies from the start. The Children's and Young Adults Library at the Central and Regional Library in Berlin therefore offers periodic courses for parents and children, free of charge for the participants during the months of winter. Parents with children ages 0 to 3 register at the library for one of the parent-toddler courses and discover the world of media together with others. Each course lasts 4 weeks. The weekly meetings take place in the mornings and are dedicated to a different subject each. Books with sensory elements stimulate the tactile capacities of children. Lift the flap books and books with other movable elements offer surprises and unexpected results. Diversity becomes a more and more important subject in picture books, as in daily life. Parental guides can help parents to understand their child better. Really good apps for toddlers are rare, but we will show the participants how to find them. Children love busy pictures. The many events on the crowded scenes instigate talks between parent and child. And good night books make a wonderful ending to a long day. Picture books offer fun and diverse stories, convey expertise, and sometimes allude to problems children and parents need to talk about. Reading aloud to the child strengthens the bond between parent and child. And the time the parent dedicates here is a wonderful gift and highly appreciated by the child. It does not matter if the parental reading aloud skills are advanced or basic. It is the attention for the needs of the child that counts. At the meeting, an experienced staff member gives guidance to the parents, offers tips how to create a literacy-friendly surrounding at home, and presents appropriate apps for toddlers. There's enough time during the course for communication and the exchange of parental know-how. The meetings begin and end with a communal song or children's rhyme. The Books for Babies courses are running ever since 2016. Most of the courses are booked completely between October and March. About 40 to 50 parents with their children participate in the program. Some of them return after 2 or 3 years with their second child to take again one of the courses. The interesting thing about it is that the participants come from very different social and economical backgrounds, but here they are united by their common interest in a successful future for their children. In this way, the library caters their community and supports lifelong learning from the outset. If you want to know more about our Books for Baby courses, please write an email to ubi@zlb.de. Thank you.
From Ohio to Denmark, Norway, Colorado, Kenya, Bangladesh, the United Kingdom, and Germany, this talk has taken you on an around the world tour of the work that libraries are doing to engage children and families in early literacy and learning. We've shown how libraries can partner with preschools and early learning centers, engage with government stakeholders, reach marginalized communities, support early literacy and learning through collections and programming, and most of all, have a local impact with global implications. We hope this talk has inspired you and welcome your questions. Thank you so much for listening.